Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I'm going to go over tonight's 8-game MLB DFS slate. We will go over DraftKings, we'll go over FanDuel, we'll check out projections, and we'll use our projections in SaberSim to run play-by-play sims and then contest sims to build lineups. That's my process, but I figured, we've been kind of having fun hand building, just seeing where the projections lie. And maybe we'll start out doing that just for kicks. And maybe that'll give us an idea of where things fall on the slate and how things are looking. So maybe it's a good way to go anyway. I'm going to build for the single entry. That's like if I play, that's usually what I play. If I have time to play the main slate. There is like a $5 lotto today, which has like a gazillion people. So, watch out for that. It's a good way to get in the lotto. It's a tough one to win. What's up, Andy? Afternoon to you too. Afternoon to everyone. So yeah, before I get started, like and subscribe. It helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com if you like the tools we're using. I think they're great projections. I think SaberSim's amazing. I think our PayDirt, our partnership with PayDirt Analytics for DFS and betting can't be beat. And what really can't be beat is getting them all together for $25 more than it would just cost to buy SaberSim. So it's a really great deal. Check it out. But yeah, let's look. I got the projections and the weather pulled up. It looks like the only thing to really watch out for is Chicago game 2. So we'll get an idea too for game 1. But this is going to be a tough one to look out for. We'll also have lineups might come in late. Who knows? So we'll keep an eye on that. And then projections, it's tough. Sitting right in the middle of the slate, if you haven't looked at it at all, is Dodgers in Coors with like a gazillion run total. And Ohtani at like 7K, Yamamoto looking good against the Rockies. So there's a lot of good stuff in that game, and it's going to be tough to avoid. And I imagine when we run the Sims, we get a good, healthy amount of the Dodgers. The question is, how can you do it at their prices? Right now, Nestor Cortez is probably necessary to do that, or other cheap pitching necessary to do that. And then some of these values at like 2K, the Beavers and Jack Peterson. So let's see for single entry if we could build a Dodgers. Cortez and Strider in terms of values are significantly ahead of the rest of the pitching. So, I imagine it's tough to play Strider if you're playing the Dodgers, but let's see if we could jam them in. And, God, I imagine this is what people do if they hand build. They at least get Dodgers in some capacity. But let's see what happens if we try to jam those two pitchers and play the so pricey Dodgers. I mean, Freeman's up to 6K. Will Smith, 5,900. Betts, 57. I mean, it looks impossible. Freeland almost feels like he's going to be necessary. And/or Rojas. Buddy Kennedy played the other day. They're against a lefty. I think Kennedy's a switch hitter. Nope. He's a righty, so I guess he could play today, but Rojas is too. And then Call, Paches, Hernandez, Ohtani. Conforto's not going to play. I imagine, boy, how do you do this? We only have 4,100. Can you do it with Ohtani? Let's play Rojas and Freeland and see if we could do it. I don't know who else. Will Smith showed up as one of the top Dodger values. And it looks like there's some of those cheapos in the outfield. So, yeah, you have barely any a man. If we get Beavers against Dustin May, and then you could do the Peterson cheapo that's been every day against Waka and KC. That's how you play the Dodgers with both of them. There's probably better ways to do it. We could see what other pitchers come up as decent values. You get a little more room if you play like a Brady Singer, but he's significantly less than Strider. Ray doesn't save us much. Gallon saves you a little, but then we're going down more. So, there's some options if you're playing the Dodgers. I would be weary of it, even in single entry. And frankly, single entry does not mean you have to hand build, right? So I still, use the Sims for my single entry lineups. It's great for the 121. I totally recommend it. But that's a kind of fun way to do it with a hand build. I imagine when we run SaberSim, we're getting to a lot of Dodgers with just different pitching combinations. Let's run that with SaberSim's projections, and then we'll run on DraftKings with Goldie's projections and see how the inputs change our pool and then change our Sims. I'm only going to run 5-man stacks here. Obviously, you could get to good stacks at other sizes, other types of stacks, but you also could get a lot of garbage, and I only get 5,000 lineups. So I want to make them count and get as many candidate lineups to grade that I think are going to be good. If I had 20,000, if I had 50,000, a ton more than I let other lineups in there to grade them. But I don't have that luxury. So let's let it build. Take a closer look at the weather. It matters. A few showers in Atlanta. That's like always the case. Royals in Texas. A little bit in Kansas City. What does he say about Colorado? It means green, showers pregame. Okay. Nothing to worry about there. So we're pretty good on weather today. Let's call this our SaberSim. SS, and then we'll switch to Goldies and see where we get. All right, building for 150. Take a look in Discord for a second. Got Sims running. Let's start with our pitching exposures. Yeah, whole bunch of Cortez and Strider, especially Cortez. Then you had Dustin May. Not the best pitcher, Spark, not the best pitcher, but pretty good. And you get the Yamamoto in there against Colorado. Some guy named Victor Medeiros, that's only 5K. 5K, I mean, that makes sense. Lets you get the Dodgers for sure. Yandris Gomez for the White Sox. You got a few shares of that. Chad Patrick in Game 2 of Milwaukee. Boy, that is a big series, right? How far? The Cubs are how many games back are they now that Milwaukee went on the win streak? 8 games, maybe? Yeah, 8 games. So the Cubs are 8 games back, but they have 5 games with Milwaukee. So they can get right back in it, winning the series or taking 4 out of 5, something like that. Big series. 70 wins. Wow. But can't get first from the red hot Milwaukee right now. Finally lost. So, okay, anyway, enough of that. So using SaberSim stuff, a lot of Cortez, a lot of Strider. We've got a portfolio running. So let's see how much Dodgers we got to. About half. 5-man's, 28%. So still, even with their price, just way above the field on the Dodgers with that huge projection against Kyle Freeland and Coors. Let's see what our pitching alongside it, what we got. A lot of Cortez, and yeah, you use that Medeiros. So all that Medeiros exposure that we had is what's allowing us to get the Dodgers in. So I imagine that's like a chalky combo, Cortez and Medeiros, but it's useful. And it may be the way to build a sort of GTO portfolio. Rogers sleeper win? You mean Tyler Rogers, Baltimore? Yeah. Let's see how much of him did we get to? Probably a few shares, I imagine. Is that let me know if that's what you're talking about, Michael. Because it's not a Dodger sleeper win. They are not a sleeper night. We ended up with just a couple shares of Rogers. I mean, the price, he's not cheap in a tough matchup. So I guess the issue is the other guys are on 9,400, 10K. And the guys below that project better than Rogers. But, I could see it. He's been good. But, not a lot right now. But we could always bump him up or see closer to lock. Yeah. But good call, Michael. Rogers has been good. Let me know if you have any other guys to look at. Has Rogers gotten lucky, or has his stuff been good? I wonder what his stuff plus is and all that. He's been good lately. Let's just game log watch. Trevor Rogers, ESPN game log, just for the sake of it. Obviously not the thing to do. Look at game log watching. Gonna love this guy. Seattle in Baltimore at Philly in against the Cubs. That game was wind blowing in hardcore, but nevertheless, great game against the Cubs. I think he lost that game to Caleb Horton. In 8 innings, 1 earned, 8 Ks, and lost 7 towards Colorado. That's not saying too much. Good in Tampa. Rogers has been good. Trevor Rogers Fangraphs. Spelling it wrong. Okay. See how his stuff has been grading. And the reason I like to look at Stuff Plus is because I don't think a lot of projection systems really capture, Stuff Plus and then the underlying stuff like Pitching Plus and Location Plus and so on. It's been good, huh? It was good in Miami. It's not been great this year. Well below average, but getting the results. Location's been good. And I mean, yeah, you could play some Rogers, Michael. Why not? You could do anything. Let's see how much Rogers we get using Goldie's projections and see if we get more or less Dodgers. I'm going to guess it's nearly the same. Portfolio manager should get you closer to their optimal rates. It's GTO sort of style. Let's build. I wonder how much of that Beavers we got. Projected for 8% ownership, but he's another guy who the ownership isn't everything, right? Because it's not just, right? Same with Cortez and same with that Medeiros. It's not just what their ownership is, it's what their ownership is in combination with these stacks and other players. You're going to get Medeiros with Dodgers all the time. Cortez you probably get with everyone, but you certainly get him with the Dodgers. And it's probably the same with his Beavers. If he's owned 8%, 6% of that is in Dodger stacks to get the expensive stuff in. So you got to watch out for that. That's one of the trickier things about hand building is you could think, okay, I'm getting an 8% guy, but really you're bunched up with 30 other Dodger stack that have that. All of them have that 8% guy. He's 8% in all of those is what represents his ownership. So always think about that combinatorial ownership, if you will. All right, we got portfolio manager diversifying our lineups. Let's see. Yeah, a little less Strider, a little bit more Cortez. Yamamoto jumps up a bit, May down a little, and way less of the Medeiros. So does that mean we get less Dodgers? Exactly the same on Trevor Rogers, Michael. Exactly the same. Be interesting on FanDuel with one pitcher if we get to him. a couple more of this Gomez. So let's see now. Stacks. Little less Dodgers. Overall, more Dodgers overall, but less in the 5-mans. Right, because we got less Medeiros. So let's see how it's pairing him. Nestor, of course, but you just don't get the Strider, really. Yeah, we knew that you don't get the Medeiros as much. You get Dustin May in there. A little bit more. All 5 of those Gomez lineups are there to get the Dodgers in. Fair enough. Makes perfect sense. Let's see if there's any, like, who are the yeah, you get the Jock Peterson, like we kind of expected, allowing you to get him in. Only 4 of the Dylan Beavers. All right. But there you have it. And, if the slate were right now, this is exactly how I'd play it. I'd put my, Goldie's projections in. I'd run the play-by-play sims. I would simulate whatever contest I'm in, whether it's the Lotto or the 121 or both, and get my best portfolio of lineups and plug it and play. And then you're late swapping. This is a good late swap slate, right? Because you got games early, and then you got Coors, depending on what happens at Coors, you got to switch later to these later night, these games with first pitch an hour later from Coors. And likewise, if your pitching's hitting, your pitching's doing well early, you got like some Gomez lineups doing well, you stick with those Dodgers. You got Gomez gets torched, maybe those lineups get off the Dodgers. So we'll be running late swap and going at it. So there's a look. Let's run FanDuel and see what happens. Actually, let's look at your thing, Michael. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if we ask it for more Rogers. What that does to us. I imagine we get less Dodgers because Dodgers is how many players named Rogers have played for the Dodgers? It had to be one, right? Let's see if we ask for like 20%, how that affects things. Say we want to make a stand. We have some take on Rogers. I'm not saying caution, word of caution. This is not what I'm doing. But let's see. So now we've got 30 Rogers lineups. Yeah, it doesn't really affect our Dodgers stuff. What it does is it boosts Baltimore. So maybe we get that correlation somewhat. Let's see what our stacks that have Rogers look like. Yeah. Baltimore in there, Cincinnati, Cleveland, then the Dodgers. So you don't get him with the 5-man Dodgers because of the price, but you just get Rogers in with your other stacks. It's maybe even more contrarian in the rest of your build. Fitting him in with the Dodgers is just tough. It's okay. There we go. Let's build a little FanDuel. See what we're doing on there in the early part of the day. And then we'll jump out of here. All right. Let's run. Sheets has his stuff up already. Okay. So let's run one with Goldie and one with Sheets and see if it changes anything. We're going to ask for only 4-mans. No 4s with 4 one-offs. No thanks. I don't want to. I mean, of course, like always, you can get positively graded lineups of any kind. But when you only get to build 5,000, do you want to take the chance on so many of them being bad lineups that don't grade well? Better off creating as many good lineups as you can, making those 5,000 count. 8-game slate, 5,000 is nothing. 3-game slate is not much. So It's going slow right now. Okay, here we go. Check Discord for a second. People sweating League of Legends. That's where the real hardcores go for DFS. Overnight, LPL, LCK, League. That's when you're hardcore. That's tough. League of Legends, DFS. It's pretty, if do you not play 4-3 stacks? And if you don't play 4-3s, you play 4-2s. How do you do it in a plus EV way? It's kind of like we just talked about here. All right, Goldie's projections. Lineup built, Strider, Cortez, no surprise. Then you get some Gallon, Ray, little the Medeiros, no Trevor Rogers. Okay. Stacks. Question is not if we're getting Dodgers. The question is how much. 58%, 36% four-man Dodgers. It's just hard to avoid if you're trying to diversify your portfolio and not get too chalky because and have some of that chalk in the higher projected teams. They're just projected so well that a GTO portfolio is going to have just a real healthy dose of them. Let's see, Michael. I only get one against 10,000 entries. Yeah, it's tough. On Bet365, what are you doing on Bet365? Like a parlay, you mean? Something like that? These are entries. So, or a pool. I don't know exactly. Let me know. Okay, let's see with Sheets' stuff if we get the Strider and the Cortez at the same rate. And then we'll jump out of here. Rebuild. The same, yeah, all the same games on FanDuel. These late night games aren't looking bad. God, if you have to switch, Cincinnati and LA, not a bad park. Bad bullpen to go against. Angels aren't going to be terrible against Brady Singer. Guardians in Arizona get the park upgrade. Arizona's just a pretty decent offense. You get that. Switch to pitching in San Diego. Who's San Diego and San Fran got pitching? We didn't get much of it, did we? Pitching projections. Oh, right, Nestor. Yeah, plenty of it. And Robbie Ray, which we got a little bit of. My bad. Free fantasy set. Oh, really? Bet365 has fantasy, huh? Is it all free, or do they have paid contests too? And it's when you say fantasy, it's like a daily fantasy thing that they have. It's free. It's probably a mega lotto. Be interesting if they have paid stuff. It's like DFS again. The days when there was Yahoo DFS. But you got to beat that many people. Maybe Trevor Rogers is the way to go. All right. Using Sheets' stuff. Pitching exposures. A tad less Strider and less Cortez. Medeiros jumping up. Does that mean we get even more Dodgers? A little Gomez. No Rogers. Okay. Let's see in stacks. Yep, right with Goldies. If we change the pool, we really don't get a change too much in the portfolio. The portfolio still likes playing 36% there. Baltimore is pretty high. We saw that earlier. All free. Yep, daily. Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's cool they have DFS. I wish the market for DFS was more robust like it used to be. But it is tough. It is tough out there. That's why you should check out TrueDFS.com. Come join us in Discord. There's a lot of good no ball tips in there. And check out the projections. We've got Goldie's projections, Sheets' projections, Peter DFS, Pattern Analytics for DFS and betting. You can get Saber Sim with the contest sims, all of that. It's like $25 more than you paid just for Saber Sim. Yeah, like 8 Sports DFS. Go, wow, yeah, it is good training. Train them and then send them over to DK and FanDuel. Don't train them too well, but yeah, okay. So let's check out TrueDFS.com. Like and subscribe. It helps us out. Join us in Premium Discord. And with that, I wish you good luck on today's slate. Let's go.